Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Nintendo Rewind. Before we dive in, hang on one second. I got something I need to do. All right, Chris. So here's the thing. I need you to give me a verb ending in ing. Give me a verb ending in ing, Christopher.
Why?
What?
I said why.
I need it. Just give me a verb ending in my ing.
Running.
Okay.
Running.
All right, give me a silly object. Come on, Chris.
A silly object?
Yeah, just any silly object you could think of. Come on.
One of those like a slinky.
A slinky? I know one of those slinkies. Give me an inappropriate location.
My anus.
Okay. I'm flabbergasted. Okay, give me another verb ending in ing.
Climbing.
Oh no. Give me a fast food location.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell? Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a safe for work sexy compliment.
Sexy compliment?
Yeah, like a safe for work compliment that you can give that notes about, how sexy something is. Not that at work you should be complimenting sexily anything, but you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean. You're asking for two different things.
Okay, give me the first thing you think of.
When I think of sexy, I think of sexy.
Okay. Give me a weird action.
Tripping over your shadow.
Okay. Give me a number.
6, 7.
Oh, God. Give me a food or drink.
A soft pretzel.
Okay. And then give me a time frame. Like an amount of time.
45 minutes, at least.
Okay. Now give me a Nintendo game character.
Wario.
Give me like a quantifier, and what I mean by that is like several, a few, a many. Like tell me a quantifier.
Quite a few.
Okay. Give me an exasperated exclamation.
Well, golly. Is that good?
Yes, that's great. Give me a small amount of money.
$1?
This is spelled exactly like that. $1. Give me a hot
deal.
take opinion.
Hot take opinion?
Uh-huh.
Pineapple is good on pizza.
Okay. Give me an overly dramatic title, like Your Highness or something along those lines.
Overly dramatic?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now all I can think of is Queen. Golly, that's it, just Queen.
And then give me an insult.
An insult?
Mm-hmm.
You're a real lint licker.
Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Season 2 of Nintendo Rewind, the podcast where we're running Nintendo news like it's a slinky in my anus. I'm Cody Christian, who was climbing at Taco Bell last week, and joining me as always is my co-host Chris Sexy Becker, who's currently tripping over his own shadow and last ate 6-7 soft pretzels. This week we're rewinding and recapping 45 minutes for Nintendo, which somehow involved Wario, quite a few questionable decisions, and at least one moment where Nintendo said, yeah, well, golly. Just kidding, it's the top 101 games of all time, part 2. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button like it owes you $1 and leave a comment telling us pineapple on pizza is good. And if you're here on Twitch, just know you're our favorite, our chosen ones, our queen. But before we dive in, Chris, how are you doing, my little liquor?
I'm doing pretty good. I've licked some lint in my day. I'll tell you what, I'm doing okay. How about you? How have you been?
Oh,
how have you been feeling?
Goodness, it has been really bad. Like legitimately, like last week we were supposed to be live doing the podcast talking about part 2 of our top 101 games. Right around 7:30, I had to give up the ghost and say I can't physically do the show. And it's because, unbeknownst to me, I contracted the flu like 2 days before Christmas. So, that was rough. And then now, like, my entire family has the flu. And so the wife is laying in bed. The kids are in bed. They're all suffering. I had like symptoms for 3 days. And then after 3 days, like I wasn't 100%, like I wasn't 100% there, but I was getting there, and I'm still not 100%. Like I'm very exhausted, very tired, but like overall, I don't have anything that's going on with them. Like no fevers, no chills, no sickness in terms of like coughing constantly or, needing to throw up or anything like that. But like the kids have they've thrown up quite a bit. The wife has, I think, thrown up once with this flu, but beyond that, like I'm done with sickness. I am super done. And then we were supposed to be doing it kind of ruined Christmas in some ways because like the kids didn't get to do the activities that we originally had planned. I was going to make like my special crock-pot hot chocolate, my extra creamy hot chocolate that I make every year for Christmas. Spend the day playing Nintendo Switch 2, which by the way, that's something that they got for Christmas, which is a big deal around this household. So like that was awesome. And then we're also not going to be celebrating New Year's Eve with our close friends that we normally go and celebrate New Year's Eve with. So fingers crossed, everybody starts feeling a little bit better and everything. But beyond that, it's been okay. How was your Christmas, my dude?
My Christmas was pretty good. I been hanging out, watching some shows. Maybe I didn't have the flu, but I was sick for a few days before Christmas. And then after Christmas, I got to feeling pretty good. And then I'm trying to think of, was there anything buck wild that happened?
Buck wild.
No, I got sick But I mean, I don't know. I feel like I was saying, "Oh, I don't feel that good, but I don't think I'm that sick," for more days than I was on medicine. But yeah, I mean, that's exciting. You got that. We got to play some games last night.
I actually got to play some games for the first time, and I mean, since I got sick, we did a Mario Kart night on Sunday night before Christmas with the community, and that was a lot of fun. Like actually getting everybody together and having a good time. To anyone who joined us then, like that was tons of fun. We had some familiar faces like Mnemonic Man, Kiatic, I Am Tenderly came and hung out with us, and then we had some new faces, some new strangers from the YouTube community come and join us too that I hadn't had the chance to meet yet, and it was nice to kind of get owned by them, because I got absolutely owned by these randos that joined us. But it was a good time playing some Mario Kart World. But beyond that, like, you joined in the chat, didn't play with us obviously because we're still trying to figure out a way to earn Chris a Switch 2 at this point. But it was still good being able to like chit chat, but after that I got sick, and you and I haven't really chatted much until last night. That was like the first time that we really got the chance to just kind of chit chat and play some games and enjoy each other's company. So I hated that. It was too many days without my friend Chris.
Without playing? Yeah. I heard about it. You called me. You called me names.
What did I call you? What could I have possibly called you that would have been horrible?
This is what you said.
Yeah.
You called me. Remember when you called me a fatty pig?
I never called you a fat pig.
You called me, and I'm sick of it.
Let's welcome the people in the chat real quick.
You just wanted to play some games, and I didn't. So
yeah, no. You care to explain why you didn't want to play some games?
I did want to play games, but you were sick.
No, you didn't want to play games with me.
You've been sick. I didn't. What do you mean? We played last night. The last night was the first time you wanted to play.
Oh man, Kiatic, welcome in. Thank you for coming and popping in at the top of the hour.
Is that not the case?
That's a case. Mnemonic Man, welcome in. CC Wire, Mel needs a name. I Am Tenderly. We also had Super Nintendo out here in the chat. Mrs. Nerdwire, thank you for popping by. Pugs, welcome in. Pugs 1007 and Sacra for coming to hang out with us during the live show tonight. I hope everybody else had a good Christmas. I see Mnemonic Man made a Game Boy made of Lego and doesn't need batteries, so I really want one of those too. That sounds freaking awesome. And then he also says
what?
He also has not a Switch 2, but that may change soon. So, welcome to the Nintendo Switch 2 family. If you end up snagging one, it'd be a good time to snag it, especially with the fact that the Mario Kart World Bundle may not be in existence for very much longer. So, if you're wanting to save,
we can only hope.
Oh my God. Anyway, before I figure out why I'm thankful for Chris, I'm going to tell people why I'm thankful for them here on Nintendo Rewind. We want to make sure we thank our generous supporters and producers from NintendoRewind.com. If you would like to support the show by going and grabbing memberships or merch to help us continue to produce here, you can do so over at NintendoRewind.com. There's even a tier that only costs $1 a month, and with it, you get a shout out right here live on Nintendo Rewind. That said, I want to thank our generous supporters and producers, Calamity Nolan, Sierra Christian, Kiatic, and Mnemonic Man for all of their amazing, gracious support. That being said, we have quite the show planned tonight, and we're going to waste very little time because we've got 25 games we've got to get through to tell you guys what our next 25 are on our top 101 games list for Nintendo of all time. So everybody hang out. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys right after this bumper. This week, we're in part 2 of the 4-part series where we're ranking down our top 101 games of all time for Nintendo. This week, covering games numbered 74 through 50. I feel like I still need to preface all of this by saying that every single game on this list is a banger, and any of them could have been number 1. And if your favorite's not represented here, I'm sorry. But if it's not higher on the list, just know that any of these could be number 1 in anyone's eyes. So that said, our list, this is our list, and all of these are recommendations that are 100% worthy worthy additions to the whole genre of Nintendo video game. But our first game right here on tonight's list is going to be Advanced Wars for the GBA. If you haven't played Advanced Wars, it is a little game from Camelot that came out many, many, many years ago. Many of you guys may know them for stuff like Golden Sun or the Mario sports games. But Advance Wars was something new and different and had changed kind of the way that Nintendo approached tactics games, produced by Intelligent Systems here for us, rather, and brought out onto the GBA. And it was the first time that really we saw like a tactical role-playing kind of game come from Nintendo. Honestly, I can't think of another one prior to that. But I love the artwork in this. The soundtrack in this game is awesome. The characters that they give in here are really, really cool. And the mission structure that they have in this game is awesome. But Chris, what are your memories with Advance Wars? How do you feel about Advance Wars? And are you happy it's on the list, my good sir?
Yeah, I'm happy it's on the list. I really like Advance Wars. It's definitely a game that I played. Not only did I play it a lot, but I played it like all the way through on the GBA, and then I got it again when they remade it on the Switch. And I love Advance Wars. And this one, I'm trying to think, it was probably like, because I had played other tactics games before, but this is probably the one that I got into the most growing up, just because it was on the GBA and I got to play it a bunch.
Right.
But yeah, I liked it a lot, and I'm glad it's on the list at number 74.
Absolutely. Me too, man. Me too. We do have another one coming up, and I'm actually going to let you take this one away because this was one that you were debating about whether or not you wanted it to be on the list multiple times, and then finally we had to make a cut from the list, from the top 100, that we had to agree on to bring this one to the list and put it at number 73. Chris, tell them what it is. Take it away, my good sir.
Yeah, the Nintendogs, Dawson and Friends. Now, in terms of Nintendo games, this is a game. This is back in the day when games would come out like months ahead of time before they came out on, like in Japan before it got localized. It would come out here. So I imported Nintendogs. Okay. Once I found out that Nintendogs, even though everything was in Japanese, the dogs understood English. So they already had that in there for them to understand it. So everything was in Japanese, and I would be talking to them in English. And I had my dogs, and I had the Japanese cartridge on the DS, and I played so many of these games. I played so many of them, and then once it came out here, me and the mother of my children, she had her own DS and a copy of this game to play. Actually, I think I had 2 DSs, and I just gave one to her so that she could, because she was playing this so much. And then I was like, you know what? Shout out to Nintendogs, because and while we were playing it, had so many ideas of what they could do with the series. And then, I mean, it went where it went. But what about you? Did you play any Nintendogs?
I did. I played a little bit of Nintendogs, but it wasn't like... I got the DS really late in its lifespan. Like my first DS was a Nintendo DS Lite. And so I didn't have an original DS. And I think the DS Lite, but whenever I got it with a bundle with Super Mario 64 DS. I remember trading in, and this was like the biggest mistake of my life, I feel like, but I remember trading in my Game Boy Advance just to be able to get a Nintendo DS and some games, even though, like, yeah, I could play GBA games on it. It just wasn't the same, you know what I mean? But I didn't have I didn't have a big fondness for Nintendogs. I think the one that I had, and chat can correct me if I'm wrong if this one doesn't exist, but it was Golden Retriever. But why Dotson and Friends is the question that I have. This specific one, was it just like the first one, or did you have like a specific reason Dotson and Friends was the one that you chose to put on this list?
So you could unlock all the dogs in all of them, but the Dotson and Friends had more of the dogs that I wanted unlocked from the start. I mean, the one I really wanted, I wanted the Dalmatian, which was like one you had to like unlock. It took forever. You had to go on a lot of walks with your dog and find a fireman's hat, and then you get the Dalmatian. And I did that, and yeah, I played so much Nintendogs. There was like I think one of them was like GameStop exclusive or something. I can't remember, because I think they had Nintendogs and Friends, and then they came out with other versions once it became really popular, and the other versions just had different dogs unlocked from the jump. I believe there was even a Dalmatian in Friends. There was a lot of them, but at first they didn't all come out. But yeah, definitely liked it a lot.
Dude, I totally feel it. That is number 73, Nintendogs, Dotson and Friends on the Nintendo DS. The next title that we have on this list is one that we actually got together and played this last weekend, and it is a game none other than Mario Kart World at number 72. Mario Kart World came out this past year for the Nintendo Switch 2 back in June, and has kind of slid itself in the pantheon of great Mario Kart games. And there's a lot that, we had to decide which ones we were going to put on this list. You've got Super Mario Kart, you've got Mario Kart DS, you've got Double Dash, you've got 64. I mean, like, there are a lot of different options that you could have chosen from to have on this list, and we chose to put Mario Kart World right down here at number 72. Partly because of its amazing, amazing online multiplayer, but even beyond that, just kind of the accessibility for people. This has been one of the more expensive Mario Kart experiences, but if you ended up snagging it with the bundle, you're getting it for like $50. Genuinely love Mario Kart World and everything it's got to offer, from being able to play as Cal to being able to roam around and free roam with my friends, experience some of the courses. The battle mode that's represented here is actually pretty okay battle modes. Not the best that the series has ever seen, but I would argue that this game holds the best Rainbow Road out of any Mario Kart game that has ever been released on any Nintendo console ever. Love the Rainbow Road in this game, but I know you haven't had the chance to play much of Mario Kart World, Chris, but maybe you've had the chance to experience it vicariously through others. What's your experience with Mario Kart World? How do you feel about it? Is it going to be a must-buy for you when you snag your Switch 2, my good sir?
Yeah, I'm going to get it, even if I do feel Mario Karted out from years of playing the same Mario Kart game with 8 Deluxe. I still think it'll definitely be one worth checking out and playing, mainly because it's like one of those like games that you can play while you're talking and chatting with like a group of people, and a group of people can get together and play it. And just drive around and talk.
Yeah, it's not like Smash Bros, where I feel like I absolutely have to be winning every single match. Like, it's not nearly as sweaty. It's just one of those things where it's just kind of fun to just dive into, blindly race around, and have a good time with your friends. And I think that it's gonna stay solidly at that spot for many, many years to come. Considering, the last time we had a brand new Mario Kart was a decade ago. So this is something that it's gonna have to be special for a good long while. The real question that I think I have about its longevity is whether or not Mario Kart World is going to stay stay as relevant as Mario Kart 8 did, partly because of the amount of support that game continued to receive post its original launch, with DLC courses and DLC racers and extra amiibo costumes, and later on the booster course pass with its re-release on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm hoping that it does get that attention and that same kind of love. And that this game continues to be something that breathes new life into players who are just coming into the Nintendo Switch 2 family of systems. So, fingers crossed. Do you want to take the next one, my good sir?
You know what? I'm going to say it now. It would be an honor and a privilege to take the next one, and that is The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. Now, this was a delightful Wii launch title, and then came out about 3 weeks. Was it 3 weeks or 6 weeks later on the GameCube?
It's the weirdest combo launch I've ever seen in my entire life from Nintendo.
Yeah,
to not have it simultaneous.
Right, because it was supposed to be a GameCube game, and then they were like, actually, no, it's coming to GameCube, but it's coming to the Wii first. And he's right-handed now, and he's left-handed in the GameCube version. But Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess, shout out, Link becomes a wolf. There's a whole thing. What did you think of Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess at number 71?
Twilight Princess is one of those games that I think is unique in that it did come out at a time when people were kind of, you can remember the backlash that Wind Waker got at the time. And now we look back on Wind Waker extremely fondly, right? Like, it's not one of those games that I think we look back and go, oh, it's too childlike, it's too kiddie anymore. I think there's a lot of fandom surrounding Wind Waker, and that aesthetic kind of persisted through Nintendo's releases of Legend of Zelda games for a very long time. I mean, if you take Minish Cap and you look at Phantom Hourglass and you look at Toon Link in Super Smash Bros., it was so prevalent and so important for its time that was the iconic look of Link for a very, very long time. And then you get into this where people are wanting a more adult, more mature themed Legend of Zelda game. And I gotta be honest, this game didn't hit for me whenever it originally released. And sometimes it doesn't hit for me nearly as much as stuff like Wind Waker and Minish Cap does. But I think it has a very important spot in games, and specifically in the Legend of Zelda franchise, because again, the motion controls that they threw into the Wii version of this was one of the first appearances of right-handed Link. His aesthetic was very mature and changed for a good reason, I think. And it gave us a lot of really, really cool mechanics with Midna and Wolf Link, and kind of harkening back to that Majora's Mask era of Legend of Zeldas. I like Twilight Princess. It's not my favorite out of the franchise, but I think it has an important spot, and I think it's earned its spot well within its rights to be 71 on our top 101 games list.
Yeah, definitely. And
shout out to the GameCube version, though, by the way.
It's, I was thinking, because I played it when it came back out on the Wii U, and I've just been waiting for it to come back out on the Switch or Switch 2. Yep. Maybe 2026, 2027 is the year.
Maybe they'll do the Wii Nintendo Classics on the Switch too. We can only hope. We can only dream. The next title on this list is title number 70, and it's one that your grandma and everybody else has played. Known as Wii Sports. This game came out. It was a launch title. It was a pack-in title. Reggie Fils-Aimé himself argued for Wii Sports to be included as a bundled-in title with the Wii to give it more value. And it is important. It is important, but it's also super freaking fun. I cannot tell you how many hours I spent standing in front of my living room TV with my dad and my mom, and even my sister playing bowling, tennis, and golf. in Wii Sports, and I had a really, really good time. Eventually, it got its own sequel with Wii Sports Resort, but I love Wii Sports. There's just something nostalgic about that specific game in a way that I'm not quite as nostalgic for Wii Sports Resort. But out of those games, like if I had to rank the games as my favorites, it would probably go tennis, bowling, golf, and then the other two games. Baseball,
tennis
maybe boxing after that. Yeah, tennis was tons of, but you have to understand, like, I'm a big tennis fan as far as that goes, especially around that era. Like,
name 6 tennis players.
Rafael Nadal, Djokovic, Roger Federer. You've got the Williams sisters, both of them, Vanessa Williams and Venus Williams. Sabrina Williams. Is that what you said?
Serena.
Serena. Yes, Serena Williams. My apologies. I got Vanessa and Venus all stuck up in there. But
Vecna
Williams. Henry Williams. Oh man, but no, I loved tennis at the time. Man, why are you out here trying to make me prove my tennis, Craig? Because I just said I liked it. Get out of here.
Yeah,
There's
Sabrina
Wii
the
Sports
Teenage
tennis.
Witch.
It's really good. It's really good. Tennis mode in this game so good.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
Why am I stuck as the South Park guy?
What do you mean?
I can't even change. I can't even change out of my outfit.
You can't change? Oh my God, you can't change. I didn't realize that the reports were turned off from when we did the
that's right, because you didn't need them when you're
hang on, I'll turn them all back on. We can fix you. We can fix you. I didn't realize that you were stuck as the South Park guy. Oh man, that's funny. Tell me your thoughts on Wii Sports while I get this fixed.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so tennis, not ideal.
Not ideal.
So when it comes to Wii Sports,
mm-hmm.
I like bowling, and everything else can go in the garbage as far as I'm concerned. Not that they were bad. It was just all I cared about playing was bowling. I played it. My mom played it. It was like me, my mom, my dad, and my brother. And we would all play bowling. And we would just take turns bowling. There's very few games my mother would play. I know we've talked about her before. She's the dead one, but there's a few games that she played, and that was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we played it. My granddad played it. One of his wives played it with him. They were like in a
many wives.
Well, they were just in a retirement community, and they had like a tournament, and they played it there, and he played a lot, and yeah, we all played bowling. There was a lot of bowling going on. I didn't care about tennis. I didn't like baseball.
Yeah, I didn't care for the baseball. The baseball game wasn't my jam at all. I mean, there's a reason it's down there at the bottom.
Seemed like
boxing was too much work. It was too much work. I couldn't feel like an amazing. But the thing is, you didn't like the golf mode. You didn't like tennis mode at all. Like neither of those modes really clicked for you.
Well, maybe I think I liked golf more than what's it called?
Man. Listen, it's all good. I'm not going to judge you too hard. I mean, at the end of the day, listen, I'm not out here asking you to. Okay, name me 5 bowling players. If you like bowling so much, name me 5 bowling people. Name me 5 bowlers.
Me?
No,
that was one of them.
That doesn't count. Name me 5 professional bowlers. Anyway,
you didn't say professional.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. You made me prove my cred on tennis, but I see. Listen, that's number 70, Wii Sports, for the Nintendo Wii. Chris, take it away on the next one here, my good sir. You got a good one coming up.
Oh, I do.
Mm-hmm,
You're not kidding. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake. This was the one on the Switch, yeah?
Yep, this is the Switch remake.
That was like, I mean, it almost looks like what's the name of it? Like, not claymation, but just like little miniature figurines.
I would give it like that stop motion kind of claymation toy chest kind of look for sure. Like this game, it has its own unique style. Well, it used to have its own unique style. That was until until Echoes of Wisdom did come out. That was kind of set in that same kind of style. But this one's got like its own special, like definitely toy box kind of look to it.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. Besides the performance issues, but even with those, just playing through it again on here, like having it look like this and playing, I played most of it, I think, in handheld. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it immensely. Did you like Link's Awakening?
Oh,
remake?
Dude. So I loved Link's Awakening in pretty much all of its forms, and that was one of the things that was really difficult to do, was try to come up with like a way to number this and figure out which one we wanted to have represented on the list, because the original Link's Awakening was so good on the Game Boy. Right before this came out, I played through Link's Awakening DX on Game Boy Color. Because it'd been so long, I wanted to remind myself of what the game was like. So I ran through it again on Game Boy Color when they did Link's Awakening DX. But this one was so special with the way that it looked, and kind of catapulted games from the Zelda top-down franchise into looking the way that I thought this was going to be forever. Like I thought this was the way that 2D Zeldas are going to look forever, because it was so iconic and so good looking, and I genuinely loved the aesthetic that they went with. And this was a very faithful remake. It's one of those things where it's like, you look at a Game Boy game and you go, how are they going to translate that to a modern era console and make it feel like it's worth it? And they did a really, really solid job with that, showing what the game, I mean, how in-depth and how complex and how charming this game truly was, even from the Game Boy era. I love the way this game looks. I love the way this game plays. I love the way this game sounds. I love how faithful they were to the original. And I mean, you know me, I'm like a gigantic Game Boy fan just in general. But yeah, no, Link's Awakening remake, it's so freaking good. And it does make me hopeful that we see more games along the lines of Echoes of Wisdom and this and in this style, kind of going forward. I hope this is kind of the aesthetic, very similarly to how we saw the Capcom era Zeldas kind of take over the way that, you know, Zelda ended up looking kind of going forward. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely like the way it looks. I enjoyed not only just playing it, but like being able to use like the multiple weapons because there's more buttons than the original Game Boy, or the Game Boy Color. And yeah, it just, playing through it again was just so good. I liked it, and I was like, man, I could take a brand new game like this, and then they give us the one they gave us. But yeah,
you know, Echoes of Wisdom. You talking about Echoes of Wisdom?
Yeah.
I feel you. I mean, there's a reason we gave it an 80 something instead of like 100. Like it wasn't this, you know. It wasn't this. But it was still very, very good. But this in particular was something special. The one thing that I don't really care for that they added into this was kind of that dungeon building mode with Dampe. I didn't really care for that mode so much. But you know,
they tried to like backhand, you know, put a, what's it called in there?
Yeah, it was like Zelda Maker instead. It didn't really click because I mean it was just all dungeons, which is not necessarily my favorite part of Zelda's. And I know that's like what most people really crave and look for. Is the reason that the shrines got lambasted as much as they did over the years in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It's because you've never had like a traditional like dungeon kind of experience. But all in all, like I think this game holds up exceedingly well, and was deserving of a remake. And it made me hopeful and long for a remake of some of these other Zeldas in this style. I mean, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, which is on our list as well. Check out last episode for that placement. Even I would argue A Link to the Past could be cool to be remade in this style and modernized. And on top of that, yeah. Switch 2, it made the performance of both this style of game with Echoes of Wisdom and Link's Awakening DX, the remake of that, made both of those perform at a much more stable rate. So that's definitely one of the big reasons, though. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening remake lands 69th on our list. Very nice, very nice.
Very, very nice.
We go into number 68, and this is a big one and a more recent release. We're talking Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition for Nintendo Switch 2. This game is a modern marvel on this console. When you look at the fact that they put this game, the entirety of it, onto a Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge and made it play and look as good as it does and be as smooth as it is, it just kind of blows me away. And we debated quite a bit, Chris and I, on whether or not we include this. This was like one of the first ones that we kind of talked about. Do we do just a Nintendo list, or do we do a best of everything Nintendo? And I think Cyberpunk 2077 was what convinced me to say, hey, how about we do everything Nintendo and get Cyberpunk on this list? And Chris said, you know what? I think that's a good idea. I agree with you. That's actually not exactly what he said, but it's close enough. But I freaking love Cyberpunk 2077, and it blows me away every time I boot it up on my Switch 2 that this game runs as well as it does. CD Projekt Red did something super special. And Cyberpunk 2077 in and of itself is just an amazing game in general. Something unique. You take on the role in this RPG experience. If you've played games like The Witcher or like Skyrim or like really The Witcher is like the better analogy here. Again, it's another CD Projekt Red game, but you're running through this post-apocalyptic cyberpunk world, taking on the role of V and trying to find your way through whatever storylines that the game throws at you. And I mean, it's in depth. There is a lot to do in this game, and there's a lot of choice that you're giving, that you're given. And even the main storyline is something that can be secondary to the meat that is included in all of the other side missions that are here. But I love this game. I think it deserves its spot on the list of top 100 Nintendo games of all time. But Chris, tell us your takeaways on Cyberpunk 2077. And I know you haven't had the chance to play this version of it, but you have played it. What's your takeaway on it, and do you think it belongs here?
Yeah, so I played it when it first came out. I played it on Stadia. Shout out Stadia. And I played it on there. And then I saw nothing but terrible things. I mean, it got pulled off of like the PlayStation Store for a while because the PS4 version was so bad. Mm-hmm. And then they turned it around, and I went and played it some more, and like on Steam, and it's just so much better now. And like one of the reasons I got back into it was because my son Dashel, he wanted to play it, and so I was like, okay, you know what? Dash is playing through it. I'm going to play through it so that then he can have someone to talk to about it. And yeah, it's really good. It is very good. Did you you've been playing the Ultimate Edition, yeah?
I have been. I've been playing through the Switch 2 version of it. This is the place where I've probably put the most time into that game, because
Right.
I didn't play it. I had it on Xbox. I got it gifted to me from CD Projekt Red. I was working at GameStop at the time. Store managers get codes sent to them so that way they can better talk about video games all the time. And so I was gifted it that way originally, and played it at launch. Came away a little bit disappointed because it wasn't running super well. And I'm going to be honest, like I sat it down pretty quickly afterwards because of a lot of the things that you were hearing whenever it originally launched. But this version of this game, the Switch 2 version of it, is one of the most bug-free, one of the best ways to get it. You get all of the DLC included inside of a singular cartridge on the Nintendo Switch 2. And I spent quite a lot more time with this game and dug into it in a very deep way, so much so that like I had original plans to do a review of this game on our channel, and there's just no way I can appropriately review it because there is so much to analyze, not to use the word that's on the screen there, but there's so much to actually like process and parse. And in the live chat, Sakura says it best, they've had over 5 years to refine it, and they've worked hard, and all of that work really paid off, and probably one of the most premier packages to show us what the Nintendo Switch 2 is capable of.
Yeah. So good.
Big praise for this game.
I'm glad it's on the list.
Me too. 68, man.
68. Number 67, though. You know what
6-7?
that is.
6-7. Oh my God. One of my favorite games of all time.
Mega Man 2.
Mega Man 2. No,
Mega Man.
unfollow Seki. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Mega Man 2, so good. I love the Mega Man games, but Mega Man 2 has got to be, of all of the original Mega Man games before we get into like X and all that, like 2, I think 2 might have some of my favorite bosses with like Bubble Man, Wood Man, Metal Man, all of them, like just so many great, not only bosses, but then like power-ups that you got for fighting them. And yeah, I loved it. Mega Man 2. And the music, just like, I look at a screenshot of Mega Man 2 and I can instantly hear the music. What about you? What did you think of Mega Man 2?
Mega Man 2 was the first Mega Man that I ever actually like beat. And I was dead set on beating the crap out of that game. And growing up, it was one of those, it was, for the longest time, I would tell you it's the hardest video game I ever did beat. I love Mega Man 2, and you're not wrong. The music on this game is stellar. The visuals are really good. All the enemies have like super great tells on like when they're about to attack, and how the game is going to actually play. I love all of the power-ups in this game. The way that this game ended up playing was just something special at the time, and Capcom was really at the height of their career in a lot of ways. We've had a couple of other Capcom games on this list already, but Mega Man 2 may be my favorite one that is on here. I love Mega Man 2, and I love Mega Man 2 better than most every other Mega Man that ever came out too, including the X series. There's a reason that, spoiler alert, you're probably not going to have a Mega Man X on this list, because I'd argue that it undistills a lot of what makes Mega Man great, and kind of gives you too many movement options. I like the challenge of how Mega Man moves in this game, but freaking love Mega Man 2, and would love to. Am looking forward to the next Mega Man in the franchise, but whatever that one was called, I can't remember. Sigma Files or whatever they ended up calling it. That was revealed at the Game Awards this year, but Mega Man 2, so good, so good. How much time did you pump into Mega Man 2 as a kid, Chris? Because I can tell you, I didn't beat Mega Man 2 until I was in my teenage years.
Oh, so many. I played a lot of Mega Man 2. I mean, that was back when I'd get a game like at my birthday or Christmas, and that was it, unless we were renting games. But this is one I got as a gift and then played all the way through it. So yeah, I mean, I had about 5 months between Christmas and my birthday to get into it, and I got into it. I played a lot of Mega Man 2 and loved every minute of it.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, Mega Man 2.
Shout out Mega Man 2, baby! Shout out Mega Man 2. We're going into number 66 here, and it is a game for the Game Boy Color, Mario Golf, another Camelot jam. Mario Golf, really, really cool, really, really unique. You end up taking on this role in this world of Mario where you're going to be the greatest golfer of all time. And what was really cool about this one is the unlocks of the character that you can bring over to the N64 version of Mario Golf. But I freaking love Mario Golf just in general. And the fact that it's not just like a remake of NES Golf, even though it uses a lot of those same mechanics. And they really went out of their way to give us like more of a turn-based RPG, JRPG kind of experience. So much so that I've argued for many years that Mario Golf is a JRPG. You create a character, you've got stats, you've got boss battles, it's turn-based. It's one of those things where I think it lends itself very well to like a turn-based JRPG kind of action style game. And I freaking love Mario Golf. What about you, Chris?
Big fan of Mario Golf. This is definitely my favorite Mario Golf game. And I was like, this is like the type of Mario Golf game I wish other Mario Golf games would come out and be like. Just definitely enjoyed it a lot.
Dude, it does set the bar high, does it not? Like, it actually really sets the bar high, and in a way that I don't think modern Mario Golf has really kind of hit.
Right, because now it's like they had this with like the RPG elements and like RPG mode, and then what they did, they were like, oh, you know what? People just really like a sports game with some sort of power gimmick, and that's basically been all the sports games since.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one, love it.
I will say I do like the sports games with power gimmicks, but I like this better.
Right. Well, yeah, but then we ended up only getting the power gimmicks from then on, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to ask, though?
Mario, like, have you played it when it came back on to NSO?
I have not. I need to give some time to it. The biggest thing that I think is missing there is like the communication between Nintendo Classics consoles of everything I do in that game. Why can't I link it to the Nintendo Classics N64 version of Mario Golf? Would be super cool.
That would be cool.
But you know, I do need to go back and give it a little bit more of a little bit more attention, I think, on NSO. I think that'd be a really, really good time. We could go into number 65 here. Chris, why don't you take this one away, my good sir?
Yeah, sure. I will gladly. We got Mario Kart DS. This is the Mario Kart, believe it or not, on the Nintendo DS system. It brought us Rob the Robot. It brought us Mario Kart portably outside of Super Circuit. And yeah, this was Mario Kart DS. Now, before this game came out, I was friends with the GameStop manager near me, and he was like, listen, I would get in a lot of trouble if I gave this to you to take home, so you can't take it home. But there was a McDonald's right around the corner, and so he gave it to me like a week early, just his copy of the game, because they sent it to him to like play so that he could like talk to the customers, right? And so they sent it to him. He gave it to me. I went to the McDonald's around the corner and played it before, like a week before it came out, for like an hour. And I was like, this is great. This is great. Mario Kart on the DS. I played a lot of Mario Kart on the DS. This one might have been I mean, I kind of did it on the N64, but I didn't really think about it. But this one was one where I was like actively trying to get good at snaking, because this was also the one that first one that had like online
Mm-hmm.
with the Nintendo DS connection. Shout out to Connections.
Absolutely.
And
Some may even
and
call you the connections guy. You know, like, listen.
I would not call me that. But so but yeah, that was the first one where I tried to use a lot of like the snaking techniques, and then I saw like this was definitely a game that I spent a lot of time with. Probably, no, I definitely played a lot of this, but I was gonna say I think I might have played Mario 64 more, but that's just because probably just from the 64 not having many great games. But Mario Kart DS, this is I'm not trying
That's
to
a hot
throw
take.
shade
There's
at
the hot take. There's the hot take that you should have put in the intro. No, I freaking love this one for its online connection stuff too. Earlier in the
could
show
have played together online. We didn't even know it.
we could have. We probably did. But I freaking loved this game, and this was not one I had at launch. Again, like I said, I got the DS Lite. That was my first DS, and it took me a long time to snag one of those. But I had a buddy who had a couple of DSs, and he would bring them to school, and we would go to tech class, which ultimately turned into we had this teacher. His name was Mr. Bates. Shout out to Mr. Bates. I apologize for all the inappropriate jokes that everyone said around your name growing up. But we would go to his class and pretty much just goof off during that class because he was chill like that. And they'd bust out the DSs, and they only had one copy of Mario Kart on DS, but we'd end up all of us being able to play together off of that one copy in the room. So it was so rad being able to just like jump into a game of Mario Kart with everybody all at once with zero issues. And dude, shout out to that dude who had multiple DSs, bringing them all to school just so that way everybody could be able to play some Mario Kart during that one single class. It was awesome. It was such a good time. I freaking love this game. Plus, this game gifted us Waluigi Pinball, the best course in Mario Kart of all time. So
that's true. We did get that from this.
Freaking love Mario Kart DS. At number 65, Mario Kart DS. We come into a game. I'm actually going to have you do this next one too, because I don't have a whole lot of experience with number 64 here on the list, and I know that you do, and it's something that you greatly love.
I do greatly love this. Thank you for that. It is number 64. We got Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. This is a game about you being murdered and having to solve your own murder. We don't know who killed us, but we're going to find out. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. It was a great game only on the Nintendo DS, and then recently they brought it out on all modern systems. It went from a 2-screen game to a single-screen game. It is definitely a solvey game, a thinky game, as they say on the streets. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Did you ever play this game? Have you seen this game? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen the game.
Okay.
But I haven't actually had any time to had any opportunity to be able to play this one, even with the modern release. So I did want to ask you, like, when it went from that single screen kind of experience went to that single screen kind of experience from the 2-screen, do you think it hurt the gameplay any at all? Because every bit of this gameplay I'm seeing that's being shown on the screen right now, it looks like it could have been played on a single screen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it translated well to the single screen, and yeah.
So from the same people who did Elite Beat Agents, correct?
What?
It has that aesthetic. Is this from the same people who did Elite Beat Agents?
No, this is
Why does it have that vibe? Why does it remind me of that so much?
It's Capcom directed or made it, and it was what's what's the director?
Hideki Kamiya.
Shoot. It was hold on.
We'll wait.
I think he worked. Yeah, he worked on like Resident Evil 2, Dino Crisis. I'm trying to think of what he directed. He came on to Dino Crisis. He did a lot of the
Shinji
he was like the
Mikami?
direct. No. He was the director of Phoenix Wright. Have you ever heard of Phoenix Wright?
I have heard of Phoenix Wright. I've played a couple of Phoenix Wright games.
Okay,
Shin Takumi.
So he worked on Dino Crisis and Dino Crisis 2 and some of Resident Evil 2. But yeah, he Phoenix Wright, and then they did that, and I mean he still does he was also the co-director of, shout out to Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
Shout out to Professor Layton, just in general. Maybe we'll get another game in that series before 2028. Who knows?
Maybe.
But yeah, so why does this belong here? Why does it belong on this list? What makes it great?
It's just so good. It's got great writing, like great puzzles that you're solving, like trying to figure out while you're trying to solve your murder. You're like figuring out what's going on. You can possess things. They really ham up the fact that you're a ghost. It's just so good. If you haven't played it, go ahead and check it out. Maybe it's on one of the holiday sales between now and the new year.
I'm sure it could be. It should be. It absolutely should be. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. The more you know. We go into number 63 now, and this is probably one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games of all time, if not my favorite Nintendo 64 game of all time. And it's a game that we all know and love, known as Star Fox 64. The second actual release that we ever got in that franchise, the first one being Star Fox for the Super Nintendo, and then the much later released sequel for the Super Nintendo, Star Fox 2. But this was the one that we actually got in a timely manner. Freaking love Star Fox 64. This game is an on-rails kind of shooter. You're playing as Fox McCloud. You're flying in an R-Wing. You're going across multiple planets trying to take down Andross, who's invaded the Lylat system. And the ultimate goal is to just make it through all of these obstacle courses across all of these planets and enduring the environmental challenges that also come along with a lava planet or a water planet or the emptiness of asteroids in space. And you get very iconic lines like "do a barrel roll," and no, but all that being said, I freaking love this game. They did cinematics like nobody's business, and this is one of Shiggy's pet projects. He freaking loves himself some Star Fox, and you can tell that there's been some love from Nintendo that got thrown into this title, from the branching storyline, choosing which way you want to go based on how well you perform in certain levels, to whether or not you find secret exits. There's score attack modes. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do in this game. But this game drips with style, has a great soundtrack, has great gameplay. I freaking love Star Fox 64, and it's probably one of the best utilizations of the Nintendo 64 controller that there has been on that console. That's my take on Star Fox 64 and why it belongs on this list. But Chris, tell me about your time with Star Fox 64, my good sir.
What did you say about the controller?
One of the best uses of the Nintendo 64 controller is done in Star Fox 64.
But I feel like we hold the controller differently.
How do you hold the controller?
We don't hold the controller the same. One hand on the outside, the other hand on the outside?
No, that's wrong. That's the incorrect way to hold it.
That's the only way I've ever held that controller.
You gotta grab it by the middle.
No, you don't grab it by the middle.
You hold it one hand on the right prong and one hand on the middle prong, and if you need to reach the D-pad, you just turn your thumb up to the left.
No. You hold it one hand on the out and then one hand out. And then if you need to press the middle stick, you just use your thumb.
Look at how ridiculous this looks. Look at
Yeah.
how ridiculous this looks. This is worse than claw. This is overextending. This is an easy way to get hand problems.
No,
you hold it like this.
I had no hand problems.
You hold it like this. One hand
You
on
got
the middle.
small hands.
And
You
how
got
are you
small
supposed
hands.
to hit? How are you supposed to hit the back middle button, the Z button, if you're holding
That's
it
where
like this?
my middle finger is in there.
No.
Yeah, you
this is
hold it,
wrong.
hold it on both sides, and then just tap it with the middle.
I would just be
Yeah.
holding it like this,
Yeah.
mouthing
Yeah.
mouthing the joystick at that point. No,
That's the way to do it. Yeah,
it's no wonder you don't like the N64.
I like the N64.
No, you don't. You literally said Mario Kart 64 is the only good game on the Nintendo 64 just a moment ago.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the best game, but
What would you say is the best game on the Nintendo 64?
we might get there soon.
Spoilers.
Yeah, we might get there soon. But yeah, Star Fox 64. I'll tell you what. This is the first game I think, maybe the first game. I'm trying to think. The first game, I ever played with a Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was sold with the Rumble Pack. That was a big selling point for that game.
It came in like a bigger box, and don't make fun of the way I said it. And you just playing it and flying around, and then like the multiple paths that they had, and like you getting a better path if you got enough points on the screen, like from killing the enemies, and like having to hold down the bomb button, or like the shoot button, the fire button, to shoot like a bigger blast that could like kill 3 enemies at once to give you bonus points. Yeah, so good.
It's really solid. I love this game.
So good. Loved it.
It deserves its spot at 63.
Definitely deserves that spot.
Oh, man. Take it away on the next one, my good sir. 62.
Okay, sure. Listen, it would be my honor and privilege to talk to you about Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. I don't know why I said I don't know why I said Final Fantasy.
It's kind of like Castlevania, you know.
Yeah. Castlevania Aria of Sorrow was so good. It had like this Castlevania Circle of the Moon was a GBA launch title. It launched with the system, and then like they kept iterating on it and like perfecting it, and this was just so good on the GBA. Aria of Sorrow was just so good. I played through it so many times. I got the Castlevania Game Boy Advance collection, played through it on there. Just
that was somewhat recently
so
too,
good.
didn't you? You got it in a handheld collection that included some of the DS games.
Well, there was the GBA one, and then they released the DS one separately. But I mean, it's just so good. I love the Symphony of the Night on PlayStation, and I feel like this was probably the closest we ever got to it on the GBA, with our Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Did you ever play this or any of these type of Castlevania games?
I did. This is like the only one that I've put a significant amount of time into, and it'd been lots of years since I last touched it. But I ended up playing it on. I did a Wheel of Games night on stream one time within the past year and a half or so, and ended up trying to play it again and discovered, oh, I'm bad at this. Like it is not an easy game by any means. But it is a beautiful game. It's got some of the best pixel art that I think that the GBA has ever really produced, in a serious way. Some cool storyline stuff that they had thrown in there as well, but the gameplay loop in terms of the way that this game is structured, being the other half of a Metroidvania, the Vania portion of it, it really lends itself to having that on the go play, and the way that they kind of space out the save rooms and everything. But I like the way this game looks. I like the way this game plays. I'm just really bad at them.
You're really bad at them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. this is like one that like I would like watch shows while I was like just grinding and leveling up in this game. It's just, yeah, so good. Loved it. But yeah, I mean, that's why it's on our list. It's just so darn good.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we're going to go to a quick ad break. When we get back, we're going to go to the back half of the next 25 games on our top 101 games list. You're not going to want to miss it. We're coming in on number 61 when we get back. Everybody get up, get a stretch break, go get a drink. We're going to run some ads, and we'll see you guys here in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of our part 2 of our top 101 games on Nintendo consoles of all times list. Again, we're covering this week games numbered 74 through 50. And again, I need to preface this by every single game on this list is a banger. If you were with us during the first half, we did 74 through 62. Advance Wars reaching all the way up through Castlevania and Aria of Sorrow. We're coming up into number 61. I'm stalling for time now because I don't know if Chris is back. Chris, did you make it back from the ad break? No, he did not make it back from the ad break. So we're going to be going into number 61. What? Oh, he did make it back from the ad break. Welcome back.
Of course I did.
Welcome
what
back.
Do you think I wouldn't make it?
I was worried. I was getting ready to be worried. Oh, man, I didn't tell anybody what you went and did. You know, I was keeping it a secret. So just so nobody else can know. But Chris, I'm actually going to let you kick off this next back half of the list, too, with number 61 here. On the list, because this is one that you have a particular fondness for that you got imported in, so we could play it a little bit early. And I don't know if me giving you those hints on what it is helps any, but tell the people about game number 61 on our list.
Game number 61 on our list, obviously, is Resident Evil on the GameCube. This was like a part of the Capcom 5. They only released 4 of the games, but they still had the Capcom 5. And it was just so good. Loved it. It like they took like the graphics and like just it was like because they still had like the pre-rendered backgrounds and everything, and it was still tank controls. And it was just so good. I loved Resident Evil 1. I have a fondness for Resident Evil 1, even like on the PlayStation, the first, like the original Resident Evil 1, played through so much of it and then played through so much of this, and I love it. I can't wait. I don't know why I said I can't wait, but I just love the Resident Evil series. I played through every single Resident Evil game, and I will continue to play through every Resident Evil game as long as they're good. But yeah, Resident Evil. Did you ever play did you play not either this one or the one on the GameCube? Because they did release it later on, I think the Wii, maybe.
The only Resident Evils that I've really dug into is Resident Evil 4, which may or may not be on our list at some point. Who knows? But Resident Evil 4. And then the Ethan Winters storyline stuff. I played a little bit of 5, played a little bit of 6, decided I didn't really care for those that much. The game series went away from the kind of like horror roots and more into the action shooter kind of route as they went until the Ethan Winters stuff started coming back out, and then they really went deep on the first person horror stuff. But I didn't have a whole lot of memories with this Resident Evil. I grew up in a household that there were two things, right? So the first thing was I was a big scaredy baby who didn't do horror very well. But the second part of this was I wasn't allowed to play a whole lot of scary games because they had a lot of very mature themes, and my parents watched a lot of what I played. So I ended up not getting to experience this one whenever it came out, and have experienced it vicariously through watching other people play through it. But I gotta be honest, like the graphics on the GameCube version of this look so good compared to the cutscene graphics on the PlayStation's version of this too.
Right, yeah. I love it.
They did a really solid job with that.
Yeah, I just love Resident Evil as a series, and definitely love Resident Evil 1. But yeah, it definitely deserves to be on the list, and I'm glad not only that they made it, but that I got to play it.
Absolutely. I'm glad you got to play it too, and 3 weeks early.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Then we dive into number 60, and this is one that holds a near and dear spot in my heart. Everybody who knows me knows that I love a good Game Boy title. And it's Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins for the Game Boy. This is like the Mario on that console, and you know, you can talk about Super Mario Land being the bundled in one that most people probably had the chance to play through, but I would argue that game is not nearly as true to form of a Mario game as Super Mario Land 2 is for the original Game Boy. This game came out, featured a lot of graphics that were very similar to Super Mario World, had a new slew of power-ups. The Super Ball did make a return as a power-up in this title, but you end up getting the rabbit ears to allow you to be able to fly for an indefinite amount of time. That really truly broke that game. A lot of cool overworld features that got included, which was a carryover from Super Mario World, and it was the first time they really tried to make some parity between the console version and the handheld version of Mario games that came out. I love this game. It's got a great soundtrack, got a great set of gameplay. The worlds in this are varied. I love the Macro Mario world where you're going in the giant wind-up Mario. I think it's really, really cool. And this was the introduction of Wario, the antithesis to Mario, to come to the Game Boy handhelds, and kind of gave us that sense of wonder of like, oh man, what's Mario going to do next when we've got an evil clone of him? Evil clones were all the rage back then, though. I mean, you had Shadow the Hedgehog that ended up making an appearance not too long after Wario made an appearance, so genuinely love Super Mario Land 2. Had a great time with this game, and was one of those black sheeps that I ended up not playing originally whenever it launched, but getting to play later on in life, and was super thankful for that opportunity too. Super Mario Land 2. How much time have you had with Super Mario Land 2, and did you enjoy it, Christopher?
So much Super Mario Land 2. I played tons of it. This right here was the first glimpse we got, for me at least, showing, hey, you know what? These handheld, they're the reason why when other handheld systems came out afterwards, people would be like, oh, we expect the same game that you see on the console in handheld form, and for it to be just as good, because they went out of their way and they made sure that it was good, and built the same game we know on the system, on the NES, on the Game Boy, and made it so that it worked on the Game Boy, but also felt like the one on the NES. And I love that about this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful game. They did the pixel art. The art direction in this is really good. The music in this is very nostalgic. The enemy and boss designs are super cool and unique. They give me in some ways they do give me Donkey Kong Country kind of vibes in terms of the structure of the bosses, and you'll see that structure of these bosses really kind of carried over in future Wario Land titles as well. Just kind of the way that you end up fighting them. But super unique, just a genuinely great game that I think more people probably should go back to experience because of its importance in Mario history. Freaking love this game. Love this game.
So good. I love it as well. And that's why it's number 60. Number 59, however, shout out to it, Pokemon Pinball. I love Pokemon Pinball. It was so good. This is a game I played so much. Oh, so much. And not only did I play it, but I loved every second of it, because it took pinball, but then also allowed us to catch Pokemon. So it felt like, oh, they put Pokemon in the pinball rather than I feel like this game wouldn't work as an actual table, but they made it feel like pinball, but also work and feel like Pokemon at the same time. And I just love this game. So good. So good. Did you play Pokemon Pinball?
I did. I played quite a lot of Pokemon Pinball. I played a lot more of the GBA version one that they came out. It was Pokemon Pinball Ruby Sapphire.
Right, yes.
But the Game Boy Color one really probably would have hit home with me a lot more, because as I've gotten older too, I've forgotten a lot of the Pokemon from that third generation, but I tend to still remember the ones from this generation of Pokemon. But arguably, Pokemon had a much better track record with translating to a pinball table than Mario ever did, and was a much better game overall. Loved Pokemon Pinball. Loved being able to catch all these different mon and add them to the Pinball Pokedex. It was just a unique experience that I agree with you. I feel like couldn't have worked as a real table by any means because of the mechanics that are thrown in here. But translated really well into the video game that it ended up being. And I think Pokemon Pinball deserves that place on the list as well, especially at number 59 here. Had a good time with Pokemon Pinball. Game Boy Color version too. Game Boy Color version on that one. We go into number 58. It's maybe one of my favorite games of all time. And I know it's not ranked up any higher on the list, but don't judge us too hard. But it is Metroid Samus Returns. This is the remake of the Game Boy title Metroid 2: The Return of Samus. They shed a few numbers and a few words from that title to make it a little more digestible. But this was like the modernization of a Metroid game that I think was very necessary in giving us what would later become Metroid Dread. We have the introduction of the parry, the way the environments end up looking, the visual language that Metroid Return of Samus had kind of already communicated in giving us that isolated world. But then when they did the remake of this, kind of leaning into the color and the vibrancy of your traditional 2D Metroids, did a really, really fantastic job with this, setting up what the franchise was going to look like going forward. I freaking love this game. I love the way that it's structured. I love being able to go and hunt down all the little baby Metroids, and it's honestly like the last time that we really had like Metroids being the focus of the franchise in a lot of ways, and it disappoints me in some ways, but I freaking love this game. I love the way the gameplay is. I love the quality of life experiences that they gave us, that they improved on with this release of this title. I loved the amiibo that kind of came along with this, because we also got the squishy Metroid amiibo with this release. It was such a cool, amazing title to come to the 3DS. And I cannot recommend this title enough to people. If you enjoy Metroid, this is one of the great ones. Honestly, a top 3 2D Metroid for me, maybe top 5 Metroid of all time. Highly recommend. But Chris, have you had any experience with Metroid Samus Returns, and how do you feel about this one?
I do. I really enjoyed it and liked my time with it. And not only that, but it was like, it was so fun how like it got announced where I definitely didn't expect it. You know, it was like one of those games where it came out and I was like, oh, because this was like after the Switch came out, and then they went ahead and released this, and I was like, we need more of this. I like that not only did they release this, but then the fact that it was as good as it was. And yeah, I love it. What about what do you think of, like, do you think this, because I feel like we wouldn't have like Dread if it wasn't for like Metroid Dread if it wasn't for this game.
This one is incredibly important to having Dread be the thing that it is today. We would probably, it's hard for me to argue that we wouldn't have Dread, because I think it was inevitable that we would get another 2D Metroid someday.
Right.
But I know that we would not have Dread in the form factor and the way that it looks and exists today if it were not for the success of this specific title in the 3DS. Again, you have the introduction of the parry, right? And that is such a big thing to the new 2D Metroids, the way that these games play, and the way they kind of give you that feeling of being all powerful. Because honestly, like parrying an enemy in Metroid and then immediately returning fire right after parrying it off of you and doing a whole bunch of damage is so freaking cool. It makes you feel super powerful and like an actual capable bounty hunter rather than just having to just take the hit. I think the way that the game is structured with the slide underneath and the mobility that you have in this game is something that's also really important that kind of carried over to Dread. But I'm with you. I do think that we would not have Dread in the package that we have it today in if it were not for this title.
Right. Yeah. I love this game, and almost feel like going back and playing it again sometime soon. We'll see what happens.
You really should. Yeah. I dug that out somewhat recently too to kind of dive back into it, and I freaking love it. I love it, and I love actually playing it on the hardware. That's the biggest thing. I want that game to get brought to the Switch so that way more people get the chance to play it. But at the same time, like playing it on that hardware is just, it's stellar. It's super fun. It's super cool.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like with the lists that we've been going through, like the more that as we're going over this list, I'm like, yeah, I could go back and play a lot of these games. Like I feel like I could revisit quite a few of them.
All of these hold up. All of these hold up in their own special way.
Right.
At least one of them. At least at 58th, with Metroid Samus Returns. What is it, 57?
Yeah. Fire Emblem Awakening. Fire Emblem Awakening is, shout out to it, Fire Emblem. This one, this is like, there was quite a few Fire Emblem games before this one, but this is the one that got me into it. I'm sure I feel like this is the one that got a lot of people into Fire Emblem. And it's definitely one that I loved, and I played so much of it. I played all the way through, multiple times actually. Shout out to the DS. What about you? Did you love Fire Emblem Awakening as much as I did?
I think a lot of people loved Fire Emblem Awakening as much as you did. I think a lot of people did. Me, honestly, I will tell you this much. Like, if it were completely up to me, I understand the importance of Fire Emblem Awakening, and I think that it deserves its place on this list and is probably the more iconic of the 3DS era titles that it came out. I mean, you had Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Birthright, Fire Emblem Conquest, all kind of in that same like span. I loved Birthright and Conquest. But this one kind of went back to more of those original roots of what a Fire Emblem truly is. And a lot of people praised it for what it was and what it became whenever it was fully released. Fire Emblem Awakening, just a good tactics game, and is one of those that is very important in the in defining whether or not we were going to get any more Fire Emblem ever again. I don't know if you remember, but this was like their kind of like last Hail Mary of putting out a Fire Emblem, right? Because a lot of that franchise was struggling. Like it was not doing good at the time whenever it was coming out. And they said, you know what? If we're only going to get to make one more of those, we're going to put every bit of our effort into this as best as we can, and we're going to put out the best dang Fire Emblem that we can, and then we're going to wash our hands and walk away from it and move on with our lives. And then this one came out and was so super successful in such a good way because it did, again, it went back to the roots of what a Fire Emblem was and what people truly wanted, and sold like gangbusters and really single-handedly saved that franchise from going the F-Zero route.
Right, yeah.
It's a good game. It's not even a good game. It is a great game. Me personally, for my money, I would recommend Birthright or Conquest, but I understand why Fire Emblem Awakening is what it is and why it lands on our list where it does too.
Yeah, and not only that, but like I played so many hours of this, loved it, but also loved like laughing at and thinking about the fact that all of the characters like in the battle animations had like hooves for feet. Like their feet looked like the horse's hooves, instead of like boots and shoes. Like instead of like the big leather boots, like the humans would have like hooves. And I was like, man, it got to the point where I was like, I hope they keep this in for the next game. But yeah.
Tsumamasa made Pretty Girl Derby before it came out.
If only. Maybe that'll become the Switch 2 next year.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
But yeah, number 57, that was so good.
What a good time. What a good time. We come into number 56, and we've got Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. Not to be mistaken for Diddy Kong's Quest. Although I feel like that one, it rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. But for the longest time, I mispronounced what this game actually was titled. But this is my favorite of the Donkey Kong Country games. And it doesn't even star Donkey Kong. Like, it's Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong rolling around. It was the introduction of Dixie with her ability to do her hair twirl and get you some extra flight. I love this game. Introduction of I think we had Squitter the spider with kicks in this game. The aesthetic, the music, the gameplay, they really kind of refined Donkey Kong Country games, and legitimately like down to the point where like the pixel art in these games has always been really good, and even with like these pre-rendered kind of pixel sprites that they included into here. But I feel like they refined the mess that was Donkey Kong Country, because visually the first game is a little bit of a mess, and they helped their design language so significantly with this title whenever it came out, and made everything so much more readable, and gave these environments just that little extra bit of oomph and definition. I freaking love this game. I love the way that this game plays. I love the way this game looks. I love the way this game sounds. I love the boss fights. Like, there's a lot to sing about praise on this. This is like one of the only games that like my grandfather on my mother's side had any interest in too. Like he didn't care about video games, but I would spend a lot of summers over at my grandmother's house growing up, and my grandfather loved the monkeys. He loved the monkeys, and so it caught his attention in a way that no other video game did. And my grandfather had a physical accident that reduced the use of one of his arms, so to get him to play a game was something that was special, and he ended up trying this one out and had a pretty decent time with it, just laughing about the monkeys. And I can't blame him. The monkeys are hilarious. They're so funny, and the writing in this game is really good. But I love Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest, and it's one of the greats on the Super Nintendo. Chris, how do you feel about Diddy's Kong Quest?
Yes, Diddy's Conquest. I'll tell you what, I really liked the way these like Donkey Kong games looked, even though they were hard as can be. But yeah, just like I remember playing this like on the SNES and being like, if this is what the Super NES can do, imagine what the next systems can do. I'm like, I remember when this was happening, and like after they announced the N64, I was like, even after 128, I was like, imagine what Nintendo 256 is going to look like. And my brother would be like, that's not how it works. I was like, it's going to be great. But yeah, I definitely liked playing this, and just swimming around as both Diddy, Dixie, just living my best life, doing a little swimming, with the flashlight and like the light on the, what's it called? Was it the anglerfish that was swimming around with us?
Yes, it was the anglerfish in this one.
Yeah,
because you had Rambi, you had the spider. I keep calling him Squitter. That's not his name, but that's what I've always called him for years. Because he squitted out some web juice all the time. He was out here squitting everywhere. But yeah, and then the anglerfish was such a cool one. I think you had the ostrich in here. in this one as well, who made a return. So it was, I mean, it was a great game, just a good, well designed, like great levels in this game as well. Just overall, just a joy, a charming game.
Yeah, it was just so good.
Absolutely. Well, that is number 56, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. We're going to be going into, what is this, our second Japanese title on the list so far? Japanese only?
Is this the second one?
I think this is the second one.
What was the first one?
Don't remember. Don't remember. We're like 50 games deep right now.
I can't remember. I'm trying to think. But well, let's just say what it is. It is what is it? Osu Tata Ka
Tatake Oyunden.
Oh,
this was your pick. You knew the name.
Yeah, but it was just so good. This is the game that ended up becoming Elite Beat Agents in America. But in Japan, it was a completely different game. And it was, in America, that it kind of became like, they were like male cheerleaders, but it was just, you play music and it's a rhythm game where you need to help these people in there's like different scenarios going on. They got the music to the point where, like, if you're not doing well, like the scene isn't going well, and like you need to like do the music and get a good enough score so that then they can improve with a situation, like whether it's like riding a horse. I think like in the one episode, I can't remember if one of the like levels in this, it's like the horse racing one, and there was like a sad one with like sad music. And yeah, it is just so good. The rhythm music, like I couldn't read a single word in this game, but just like the way the music lined up with like the beats that you were hitting, and like the way it worked with, like, it was like my favorite implementation of like music in a rhythm game, and it's still to this day one of my favorite rhythm games ever. And yeah, I love it.
I'm glad you never asked me what my experience was with this.
Oh, you did. Yes. How many would you say it's one of your favorite games of all time?
I would say it's on my top 101 list, so it has to be up there.
What can I say? Yeah.
I do have a soft spot for rhythm games though. Like I love a good rhythm game. Especially like I think about games like WarioWare, that's kind of what like Rhythm Tengoku for specifically, like Rhythm Heaven. I freaking love Rhythm Heaven. And this one kind of has that same like level of absurdity that I think is really cool and leans heavily into the Japanese style of humor, while incorporating some really cool like rhythm gameplay elements in there. And I gotta show what's going on the screen right now. This is ridiculous. These men are just dancing in a street market while these other men are running a carriage up in the top, and I have no clue what's going on, but it's insanity. But I never had the chance to play Osu Tatake Oyunden. It wasn't a game that was on my radar, but I'm glad that it's on the list.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And that was number 55. We're getting close. We're getting down there.
We are. Coming in on number 54, we've got probably one of the most important titles here of the Legend of Zelda generation, and that is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker for the GameCube. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker is we talked a lot about it back when we were talking about Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess earlier in the episode. But it came out to mixed reviews because people really wanted a mature Zelda, right? And instead we got Kid Zelda drawn like a cartoon on the high faring seas, and not really at all what everybody was clamoring and hoping for. But the thing about this Zelda that makes it so special is the charming cel-shaded nature of the graphics, to the point that this game till this day still holds up even on its original GameCube release. You take those cel-shaded attributes and you bump them up into HD, and you've got one of the most beautiful Legend of Zelda titles in the franchise. Now, note, we did not pick the HD version of this game. We picked the original GameCube version of this game, and that is purely a nostalgia pick, but it honestly doesn't matter which one that you end up picking on here. There's a lot of quality of life improvements in the HD release, but again, I have a lot more nostalgia for the original GameCube release of this title, and had such a good time sailing around the world with the King of Red Lions, and really enjoying the vibes that this game gives, and the coming of age story that Link gets to have. And the final fight with Ganon is likely one of the most gruesome fights in the entire franchise too. If you want to talk about a mature rating, there's a reason this one should be rated higher than it actually is. But Chris, I have a lot of fondness for this title, and that's the reason that it ends up landing on the list at number 54. But how do you feel about Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, my good sir?
Oh, I love it. Love Wind Waker. I loved it when it got announced. Like when originally it got announced, it was like on, I think IGN posted it first, or that's where I saw it. And it was like, just like from, was it from like some Nintendo convention where they showed it in,
it was Space World or whatever they called it back then.
Space World, yes. And I was like, this looks so good. But I liked the way, instantly liked the way that it looked. And I was like, I want to play it. And then I just think it aged better because of the graphics that they use, as opposed to going with like more realistic graphics. And I just love the way it looked, sailing around, like the water as you're sailing around, and just all of it. I love Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
It was such a departure from like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask visual storytelling, right? Like it looks like a cartoon, but it holds up super well. Like it still holds up to this day. Cell shading, sometimes when it's done extremely well, and like Wind Waker has been, it tends to survive the years a lot better and a lot more gracefully than games like Twilight Princess do. And I think that's something that we're going to see over the years, is like this game is still going to look good another 20 years into the future, because it just has like this vibe. It reminds me a lot of like sprite art. Sprite art tends to hold up to the ages of time. Like you can look at it and know that it's of its time, but that's kind of the vibe that you're going for. Whereas this one, you really, it's timeless compared to sprite art. I love this game. I love the gameplay. I love this game. And rank this one really high up in terms of my own personal Zeldas too. So that brings us into number 53, my good sir. You want to tell the people about 53?
I sure do. Number 53, Animal Crossing New Horizons. New Horizons is here at number 53. Animal Crossing is Animal Crossing. This one adds terraforming. This one adds it was just so good. They added so much, and I loved every second of it. I have hundreds of hours on this game. Animal Crossing, just in general, loved it. But New Horizons, definitely one of my favorites. What about you? What did you think of Animal Crossing New Horizons?
This one released at like this like perfect crossover in time where people were craving something to do, because it came out in the time of COVID, and you can't really talk about this game and its success without acknowledging the fact that it was when the whole world shut down and we all desperately needed something to be able to do, quote unquote, outside. And our connection to the outside world and to each other in many ways was done through Animal Crossing New Horizons. I love this game partly because of how accessible it was and the amount of people that dove into Animal Crossing for the very first time. And it gave me a large opportunity to be able to share that franchise with people that normally would never have touched a video game in their lives. But I also love this game because of the type of gameplay loop that it has. It really settled into its own skin in a good way, where you had the Nook Miles rewards that you could go in and get. You had these daily objectives that you could run in and work on. You had this giant massive world that you could make your own, and you had all of these friends that were there to kind of greet you from if you were familiar with any titles in the previous portions of the franchise. A lot of familiar faces making an appearance, along with some new ones like Raymond. I love this game. I love the fact that it does strip back some of that power trip, and I know a lot of people really missed having that power fantasy of being mayor and making every minute decision. I liked having more of a simple experience in this title. And just on top of that, how beautiful it looked was also like something that I desperately wanted from an Animal Crossing for a long time and had hoped would happen. And we finally got an HD full-on Animal Crossing that looks good and plays great, and I could play with my friends. I had such a good time with this. Over 400 hours in Animal Crossing back whenever it originally launched, and those hours continue to grow, especially with the hope that the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of this game is going to be something that is worthwhile. And we may have to reevaluate this list once that comes out. But Animal Crossing New Horizons deserves its place at 53rd on our list for sure, 100%.
Yeah, so good. So good. But yeah, I loved it. And I'll probably be playing more of it in 2026.
We come into number 52, and this is one that I think part of me is extremely afraid to actually name. But I think Chris and I have made our opinions on the Nintendo 64 as a whole pretty vocally known. And so if you've watched the show and you've paid attention to what we've said over the past couple of years, you'll know that our feelings on Super Mario 64 is that it's definitely not a number one Mario game, but it is a very good game still yet. Planting itself firmly at number 52 on our list, we've got Super Mario 64, the first foray into 3D for the Mario franchise. And if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it big, and they really did do it big. I mean, there is a lot to do in this game, from a ton of worlds to be able to go and explore that are sandboxy in nature. The platforming feels pretty dang good still yet. The camera controls not so much. The gameplay loop of going into a world, snagging a power star, and then making your way up the castle to be able to free Princess Peach from the clutches of Bowser is still all present there. But the music in this game sets this game apart pretty extremely well, and the visuals in this game is what draws you. My favorite thing about this game is that it gave birth to the Got Milk commercial with Mario jumping out of this game and into the refrigerator. And like, I have huge nostalgia for this game. I borrowed this game because I didn't have it for a lot of years. It wasn't one that I personally owned. I got the Nintendo 64 with Mario Kart 64, and that was my Mario at the time, was Mario Kart 64, but it didn't meet the expectation that I had. And so when I borrowed this game from a neighbor and saw what it could be, like being able to explore around freely as Mario and hear his voice lines and just kind of see how he interacted with the world, and then the power-ups with the wing cap, the metal cap, the invisible cap, like there are a lot of a lot of things that you can do in this game, and this game holds a special place in my heart, a nostalgic place. It may not be my favorite Mario, but it is one of those Marios that I think we can all look back pretty fondly on and say, yeah, this was a good foray into 3D for the very first time. Chris, what's your experience with Mario 64?
My experience with Mario 64 is watching the VHS before the N64 came out. Going to Toys R Us.
Nintendo Power VHS.
Yeah, going to Toys R Us before it came out, but not wanting to play it, but watching it from afar because I just wanted to play it for the first time at home.
Mario Cook.
And then finally.
I regret saying that out loud. I'm sorry. I'm not repeating it.
What did you call it?
I called you a Mario Cook. I wish I hadn't said it out loud. And that's going to live on forever in infamy. But I understand wanting to have that experience on your own too. Like that is something that I think this game, like you can watch other people play it. But this game is best experienced first person.
If you want to be called a Mario Cook, yeah. Listen, here's, yeah. And I think it ended up being even better when the first time I played it because it was like a holiday and there was no games to play. So I was playing Myst on the PlayStation 1 and I just kept having to kept getting lost, and I'd go like forward 2 screens and have to change the disc because there was like 5 discs and you just had to keep changing and kept going back and forth. And my brother came downstairs and was like, why are you playing that? Why don't you play this? And handed me the Mario 64. And I remember like I could do it so easily now getting stars, but I was up till like 2:00 in the morning and finally got to the first Bowser fight. And I was like, this was incredible. Like I just remember pushing the analog stick up to make them walk, for the first time, and like getting them to do the tiptoe walking and like playing like in 3D. It was just so good.
It was really, really good. And honestly, revolutionary at its time. Like, does it hold up well? Most Nintendo 64 stuff doesn't these days. Like, most of it shows its age pretty effectively. But for its time, it was one of the most futuristic things that you could have possibly ever experienced, and one of the most peak experiences on the Nintendo 64 that you could possibly ever have. Followed shortly by number 51 here. Chris, why don't you take it away and tell the people about what topped Mario 64?
I'll tell you what topped Mario 64. WWF No Mercy. The best game on the Nintendo 64. This game is so good. I love WWF No Mercy. I played it more than any other N64 game. I played it. I could go back, and if you were like, you know what, in 2026 you can only play one game and one game only, and it was WWF No Mercy, you wouldn't hear me complaining because it was just that good. So good. WWF No Mercy, definitely a game I recommend everyone check out. It is so good. So good. I don't care what anyone else says. It's amazing.
We got Zachary in the live chat saying World Wildlife Federation, No Mercy.
That's so true.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, there's a reason they ended up changing, and had to go to the WWE. I did not have this specific wrestling game, but wrestling games on the N64 by and large were some of the better experiences that you could have on that console. Really colorful cast of characters, a lot of action, a lot of arcade moments, multiplayer out the wazoo. Like it was the way to play games on the N64. The game that I had was WCW versus NWO. But WWF No Mercy, I gotta hand it all over to you. I think you've made the argument for it. Why is it on this list? What puts it there? What puts it there, in your opinion, at number 51 above Super Mario 64?
What did you say to me?
What puts this game above Mario 64 on this list at number 51, WWF No Mercy?
It was it's so good. It's the best like game to play with multiple people. You can play 4-player, like 2v2. You can play four-player, every person for themselves. It's just so good. I love it. I can't get enough of it. And just everyone, it's just so good. So many great memories, not only just memories playing the game, but the game feeling so good, and wrestling's never felt better.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you. We get to the final game for tonight at number 50. And it is a title known as Final Fantasy Tactics Advance for the Game Boy Advance. This game's not to be confused with Final Fantasy Tactics or the later re-release Ivalice Chronicles. This is the original Final Fantasy Tactics Advance for the Game Boy Advance, where it was a totally different story. I can tell you, I remember this like the snowball fight tutorial level like the back of my hand. I played so much of this on my Game Boy Advance, and it was on the SP was where I played most of this title. But this was my introduction to the Final Fantasy franchise. I did not play any of the other Final Fantasies because I didn't own any consoles like the PlayStation to be able to play any of the modern takes on them. But I didn't own any of the other Final Fantasies on the Super Nintendo growing up either until I was much older. And this game really taught me the importance of tactics games and how good they were going to be. This was my Advance Wars. The cast of characters that are in here are so good. The storylines and the job system that you could do in this game was really, really good. The way the gameplay elements really forced you to think strategically was good. And it also came out at a time that was very important for me because I was getting into chess, and this felt like an even better chess in a strong way. The pixel art's good. The music's good. I cannot sing the praises of this game enough. If you want an ideal tactics game on the Game Boy Advance and you don't want to spring for Advance Wars, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is the game to play to be able to get that tactics experience on the Game Boy Advance. But Chris, I've said enough about number 50. What do you feel about number 50? How are you feeling about Final Fantasy Tactics Advance?
Oh yeah, I love Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, maybe even more than Final Fantasy Tactics. It's so good. And like the fact, I love that they had like the tutorial is a snowball fight, like to show you how to play the game. I love it. And I mean, they released Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, right? And and I feel like it's just I feel like this one needs to be next. I want to play it again on a modern system, and it'd be great if they'd give us
Absolutely.
that, for crying out loud.
Absolutely. Well, listen, that is our top 51 games so far on the list. 51 titles down. We've got another 2 parts that are going to be coming at the people over the next couple of weeks. We'll be going through numbers 49 through 25 on next week's episode. You're not going to want to miss it. And then we're going to be getting into the big titles, the ones that people have been waiting for, to be able to hear our opinions on it and whether or not they belong on that list. But we do have just a couple more sections left in this episode. We're going to throw it over to the fast forward, where Chris is going to tell you about all the games that you need to know about that are coming out right after this. Take it away, Christopher.
It'd be my honor. I'll tell you what. We have. What game do we have? Came out as a nice little Christmas surprise, December 25th, $14.99. Stardew Valley Nintendo Switch 2 edition. It is a free upgrade if you already own the game on the Nintendo Switch. And here it is. It's out and about, living its life. You went ahead and played some of this, didn't you?
I did. I messed around with it because I've had Stardew Valley on Nintendo Switch for a long time, but I had played a little bit of it. I never had a farm that I was super proud of in that game. But the Switch 2 edition launched, and I was like, well, let's check it out and see what's going on in it and what's different. I got to be honest. I told Chris last night, I was like, I either did not play enough of the first version of it, or there's not enough that's been changed to know what has been updated with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of this game. But it's good. It looks pretty. It runs stably on the Nintendo Switch 2, and it was free, which is always good. But Chris, what is different in Stardew Valley Nintendo Switch 2 edition?
It's got a higher frame rate. They got the 4-player local multiplayer. It's got game share. It's got mouse controls. It's just an all-around Switch 2 edition package.
Mouse controls. That's all he needs. That's all he needs.
That's all you need. $14.99 free upgrade out now. And then on the Nintendo Classics, we've got on the N64, we got Rayman 2 and Tonic Trouble. Shout out to them. Did you play either of these games?
Not when they originally launched. I didn't have Rayman growing up. But I did play this somewhat recently. There's a video of it on our channel. If you'd like to see my experience with Rayman 2. I haven't gotten to dive into Tonic Trouble just yet. But this game honestly holds up surprisingly well. You know, we give the Nintendo 64 and their platformers a lot of guff. Looking at you, Super Mario 64, and their camera controls, but I was really surprised at how good the camera controls were in Rayman 2: The Great Escape. The gameplay loop is really, really simple, really, really cool, but it is your classic collect-a-thon, and I don't necessarily love collect-a-thons, but I feel like they did this one extremely well, where, you know, you're not locked out of going into extra levels if you end up not picking up enough of the stuff. But Rayman 2, really, really surprisingly good game, still yet to this day. Tonic Trouble, again, can't speak on it, but it is available on Nintendo Switch Online through the Nintendo 64 Classics if you have the expansion pack, the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack, to be able to play it.
Yeah. I played Rayman 2. I watched your gameplay of it, and I was like, I don't remember it being like that. I'll tell you what. I don't know how I remembered it, but you know what? It's out there now. But once I get the Switch 2, I'll be playing them too. I think that's what my favorite thing to do is when they release games on the Nintendo Classics is at least just pop in and check them out.
Yep, it's like a nice little bonus gift, and if it sticks, it's awesome. Like I will play a ton of it, but if it doesn't, I'll usually bounce off. But Rayman 2, like I was surprised that it had me going back to it, and genuinely in a good way. I really enjoyed Rayman 2, so it almost made me go, did we make a mistake and not put that one on the list? But you know, it is what it is. It's not too late. We could still change it. But that does bring us into Pixmin, or Pixel Minute for long. For those who don't know, this is the game show segment of the show where Chris has exactly 60 seconds to try to guess the exact title of a game that was released this week in Nintendo history. Maybe not this week, but maybe 25 years ago. Who knows? But it's going to be a image that gets presented on screen. We'll slowly depixelate. The quicker Chris guesses it, the more points he gets. And we're going to throw it over to him as soon as I get that camera being shared to him. Let me know when you can see me, good sir.
I can see you, for crying out loud. I got you.
Here we go. We're going to get this party started in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, there's quite a bit of pink.
There's a lot of pink.
There is a lot of pink. I'm trying to see here. Is this Tetris 99?
This is not Tetris 99.
Is it Dr. Mario?
This is not Dr. Mario.
Is it Tetris?
No, it's also not Tetris.
It's Puyo Puyo?
In the vein, but no.
Puyo Puyo Tetris?
Too far in the vein. It's a similar gameplay. It's nothing Puyo Puyo, though.
Is it the Pokemon one?
No, not Pokemon.
Is it... Wait, is that Acme?
That is Acme in the background, yes.
Is it Looney Tune? No.
One final guess.
Animaniacs. I don't know.
You were close with Looney Tunes. I had to scrub the logo out of the upper right-hand corner of that image because it said the title of the game in every screenshot that I could find. This is Tiny Toon Adventures Wacky Stackers, the first Tiny Toon Adventures video game released on the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Came out December 30th, 2001, and was developed by Warthog, published by Conspiracy Games, and Swing Entertainment in Europe. It was its first puzzle-style game for the franchise and featured several characters from the series, including Buster Bunny, Montana Max, Elmira Duff, Furball, Babs Bunny, Plucky Duck, Go-Go Dodo, and Dizzy Devil. Not a whole lot said on its Wikipedia page other than it's a puzzle game, and it was Tiny Toon Adventures, and it released December 30th, 2001. So, but basically as Bejeweled or Puyo Puyo, if you want to think about it in that kind of vein. Did you play any Wacky Stackers? I know you played other Tiny Toon Adventures games, but did you play any of Wacky Stackers, my good sir?
No, I did not play any Wacky Stackers, but I mean, it's not too late. Maybe I will one day.
Maybe you will. Maybe you will. Maybe you should. We're going to throw it over to the Extra Nintendo News segment. All the news that you need to know about for this week. You can get a Super Mario Yoshi holiday ornament on the physical rewards shop on My Nintendo for 400 platinum points. There's been an NSO icon rerun going on for the last week. Icons rotate every 2 days, and this goes on until January 2nd. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond icons' final wave is here. They will not rotate again. They're gone. January 3rd. We also got another wave of special Animal Crossing icons featuring Isabelle, KK Slider, Brewster, and Jingle, available until the 5th. Pokemon Legends ZA icons are here, and if you just play anytime between now and January 4th, you can get a Mega Chestnut, Mega Greninja, and Mega Delphox icon just for playing. The monthly Play and Redeem icons this month are Metroid Zero Mission and Metroid 2 Return of Samus sets. New sets will begin this upcoming week. Play those games anytime during December to claim. Old news, but news that we didn't get to share. Do you like to party? Because We Party does, and that soundtrack hit Nintendo Music as of last week. Be sure to check out your Nintendo Music Year in Review, available until January 5th. The Hits for the Holiday sale is live, and you can save on titles from Nintendo like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Fire Emblem Engage, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and Super Mario Odyssey. There are also lots of amazing other games like Pizza Tower, Minecraft Hades 2, and Star Wars Outlaws available for a very discounted price. A reminder that Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade got a demo 2 weeks ago, and we played it. If you want to see what we thought about it, you can go view the video on our channel as we play through the entirety of that demo. Spoiler alert, it's amazing. It looks good, and it plays amazingly. Splatoon 3's Frosty Fest is going to return January 9th through 11th. Who do you spend the holidays with? Friends, family, or solo? And we got a new stop motion animation for Super Mario on Play Nintendo's YouTube channel. It features Yoshi and a game of hide and seek. It's adorable. Dispatch was announced to come to Switch and Switch 2 2 weeks ago for 2026. I am stoked to replay it. We'll be picking it up there 100%. And then finally, rumor mill has it, and it's a pretty solid rumor, that Nintendo is looking at giving devs more Switch 2 cartridge options in the future, a cheaper alternative to the current 64 gig model and the pointless game key cards. This is a big win, and I don't want it to go unnoticed that we may be able to see more physical games actually get released on this console. Chris, where can they find you, my good sir?
You can find my terrible time to yawn. You can find my link tree and then just go from there.
All right, and you can find me over at nerdwireplays.com. Links to all my social media garbage over there. And then make sure that you're checking out the show every week, Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Twitch and on YouTube. Remember, you can catch all of our past episodes over on the YouTube channel and be able to catch up on all things Nintendo Rewind. Remember, please be kind and rewind. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good night. Peace.
Toodaloo.